Don't trip. Okay, so the one that barely touches the circle is a tangent line, and then this one that's going through it and extending, that's the secant line. Okay, read both of these sections real quick. Read both of these. How many of you have no idea what you're reading? Awesome! I'm so glad. Because I don't like to read. I like people to show me with pictures. Okay, so we have two situations going on. This is situation number 1. Okay? Are those tangent or secant lines? Secant lines, a.k.a. because it says it right here in bold and italicized. Two secant lines going through the circles. So basically, we're just finding measures of whatever they ask us to. So we have to know pieces of this circle to take it and find whatever they're asking. So if you have two secant lines that intersect in the middle of the circle, they're intersecting at what point? E. Get it? Because it's in the middle of the X. They're intersecting at E. So how you find whatever measure they're asking, so in this case I think it's measure 1, this angle measured right here is equal to the sum of this one and this one divided by 2 formulas. Just got to know them. They're the same, you just have to know which situation to use them. So right here, these inside angles can be found by taking these two outside arcs, adding them, and dividing them by 2. So, formula number 1, box it. Let's go ahead and do the example that goes with this one. Oh, it's tangent, secant lines or chords, so it works the same for chords. Will somebody let Barnes back in? He looks real excited to tell us something.
So it's like someone took it home, started it off in pen, didn't do anything, doodled the whole day of the test, and then brought it back and said, oh hey, I found the test in the drawer. It started off in pen and scratched out the date.
Looks kind of sketchy.
Guess what period? Yes.
8 minus 2?
That is correct. Hey! Air pressure wall. You ever felt that?
He's like the big brother I never wanted. I'm just kidding. Okay, so it's secant lines or chords. Okay, so it works. So right here, we don't have secant lines, but we have chords. It still works. So it wants us to find x. So to find x, I take the sum of this and this. So right here, these little blanks, these fancy little blanks that I just erased, those were for you to write it in so you'd have something to do. 30 plus 55, which comes out to be 85. So you add them, divide them by 2, so x is equal to, yeah. Okay? So that is when there are two secant lines in the middle of your circle. Two secant lines. When they're in the middle, I know I add the outsides, divide them by 2, that gives me my angles. It works for both of them because these are vertical angles. Okay? All right, example number 2. This is a secant and a tangent. So we have one that's going through the circle and one that's staying on the outside. Your formula to find the inside is that your angle made by the two lines, so xt to v, this angle right here, is half of the measure of t. Yes, ma'am?
Hey, was Justin short in second period today?
Ooh. I do not believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so to find this one, this angle is half of this whole arc. Okay, so down here, in example number 2, it wants us to find y. Well, I know this whole arc is 168. So to find the angle, I just take half of 168, which is 84 degrees. That's situation number 2. Okay, so down here, I want you all to do number 1. What'd you get? Good, 46. So you take these two and add them, and then divide by 2. So you would have 1/2 40 plus 52. Okay, there's a difference in number 2. Number 2, we are given this angle, and we're given this arc, and we want to find this other arc. You know the formula, just reverse it. So I know that if I add these two and divide them in half, I will get this angle. So 45 is equal to 1/2, and I need to add the arcs. Well, I know one of them is 28, and the other one, let's call it GH. Arc GH. So, here we go. Take and distribute. Half of 28 is 14. And then half of arc GH. Subtract 14, multiply by 2. Yes? No, because 45 is not, that trick only works when it's on the outside. So that trick would work if it was like this. If this vertex is over here. Because 45 by 2 times 2 is not going to give you the correct answer.
I think she was saying, like, instead of distributing it, moving the 1/2 over and then doing, like, 28.
Oh, were you saying multiply both sides by 2 and get 90? You could do that if that's what y'all were saying. You could multiply both sides by 2 and you would have 90 equals 28. Is that what you were saying, Emma?
Yeah.
And then you just minus 28? So your answer... yeah. So either way you do it, your measure should have been, measure of GH was 62. 45 times 2 is 90, so it doesn't work to double it. That only works if it's in this case where the angle is back here on the bottom. Okay, do 3 and 4. Well, to find RT, don't we just double the angle? So measure of RT was what? What? 148 degrees.
Why did you double it?
Because it's half of the arc. So if I'm working in reverse to find the arc, I double it. If I have the arc to find the angle, I have to half it. Because up here, in this example, I knew the arc was 168, so to find the angle, I have to divide it by 2. Down here, though, it's reversed. I have the angle, and I have to find the arc. All right, and then 5. Make sure you're not finding W, you're finding angle 5. What is going on? Are we confused? It's okay if we are. Okay. I know. Aubrey, what's going on? Or is it Kaylee? Kaylee, what is going on? Oh. Degrees. Okay, number 4. So we have to find W to help us find our answer. But W is not our answer. Angle 5 is our answer. So if I know that I'm finding this one first, I have to add these and divide them by 2, and that gives me that angle. So 1/2 90 plus 130 is... So 220. So W is 110. But I know that these are supplementary. These two are supplementary, which means they both together equal how many? 180. So to actually find angle 5, I have to do 180 minus 110, which means that the measure of angle 5 is 70. Okay, to the back. Now, we have 3 other situations. So in total, how many situations did we have? 5. 2 on the front, 3 on the back. Okay, so in this one, in this situation, I know how to say situation. I just think it's more fun to say. Okay, anyways. We have 2 secants. They both go through the circle. So this is telling you how to find the measure of angle P. If I want to know this measure, then I have to use this formula. Why will I ever need this, except for if I'm a math teacher? You need it on your ACT. You need to go to college and you need a good ACT score, so it'll give you money if you know this. Or if you need to cut a pizza one day. Or a family pie at Thanksgiving. Or if you're going to lay towels in a bathroom. If you have circle towels. You never know. The world is changing fast. I know, you're so right. All right, so if you have 2 secants, the good thing about all of these situations is that they all have the same formula, okay? They have the same formula, so it's easy to remember. You have 2 secants. In order to find this measure of angle P, you have to take arc BE, subtract it from arc AD, and divide it by 2. So you're taking your 2 arcs that are in between these secant lines, divide it by 2, and that'll give you the measure of angle P. Do I have something on my face?
No, I was crying.
Because of our conversation? Emma's going to have circle towels in her bathroom. Okay, right here we have a tangent and a secant. So we have tangent and secant. In order to find angle Q, I have to take both of these arcs, subtract them, subtract the big one first because we don't want no negative numbers, especially in our bank account. Okay, so big minus little divided by 2, it gives you angle Q. Over here we have 2 tangent lines. That means they're not going through the circle, they're just going on the outside. So to find angle R, again, you take big arc minus little arc and divide it by 2. I know. It's just, It's right? With a U-G-H-H-H. It's just But we still have to do it. So, in this example right here, angle MPN is formed by two secant lines that intersect in the exterior of a circle. So I am finding measure MPN, which is this little bitty thing right here. Okay, that's what I'm finding. So in order to find it, I need to take big arc, which is 34, subtract little arc, which is 18. So 34 minus 18 is 16, which means my degree is 8 degrees. So in number 1, I'm finding the measure. You know where these boxes are? That's just meant to be an angle. Sometimes the computer just doesn't like angles, and it doesn't print them. Those mean angles. Okay, so to find the angle 1, I have to take 80 minus 40 divided by 2, and I'll give you your answer. 80 minus 40. If y'all want to write it like this, I'm cool with that too. So the measure of angle 1 is 80 minus 40 divided by 2. So, tell me this. What's the difference between these two? Except for the fact that they have different formulas. What's the difference? What sets them apart?
One of the angles is that one doesn't have a second.
Right. That's what I see the most. This one has 2 arcs inside the angle. This one doesn't. Which means in order to find this one, I have to subtract them and divide by 2. This one, I just double it if I have the angle. Okay, so those are, you have to pay attention to that and know when to use which one. So these are all 5 of our different situations. These 2 intersect on the inside, and we have to add them, and then divide by 2. This one, you just know that the angle is half of the arc, or the arc is 2 times the angle. And then these 2 you subtract. Okay, so make sure you're looking at the differences. Let's keep going. So anybody got 2 yet? What? Yep, you should have gotten 40. 160 minus 80 divided by 2. All right, 3 is different. What do I not have? The small arc. I don't have AD, but can I find it? Yes, good. Yeah, pay attention because this whole thing is 360, but I'm not even finding arc AD. I'm finding angle 3, but I know this whole circle is 360 degrees. So to find this arc, I do 360 minus 220, which tells me that this is 140. So now I can find it. 1/2 220 minus 140. Did I get 40? Okay, and number 4, I want to find the measure of the small arc. I know the angle and I know the side. Can I do it? I just have to rearrange the formula. I know this angle, 20, is equal to 1/2 subtract the arcs. The only problem is I don't know JP. But I can solve for JP. If you want to go ahead and just multiply both sides by 2, that does make it easier. Multiply both sides by 2, that cancels this 1/2 out. You get 40 equals 70 minus JP. You have to subtract 70 over. So you get negative 30 equals negative JP. But negative divided by negative is a. So JP is equal to 30. All right, let's do 6 first because 5 is the hardest. Let's save it for last. Can you find little arc NP? By doing what? Right. 360 minus all the other stuff. So little arc is 70. To find angle V, 1/2. 100 minus 70 is 30. Half of 30 is. All right. Here's the problem with number 5. How many numbers am I given? 1. And it's the angle. So in this formula, I know that 50 is equal to 1/2 major arc. How would we write that? Because they're both LN. Can I make it this? Can I put a dot right here? Let's put a dot. Let's make it A. Okay. So 1/2 LAN minus LN. Well, how many degrees is LAN? How many degrees is LN? So isn't LN, let's call LN X. LN is X. Well, isn't LAN 360 minus X? Think about it. If this is X, isn't LAN 360 minus X? Okay, so instead of writing LAN, let's plug those in. 50 equals 1/2. LAN is 360 minus X. So all of this took place of just the LAN. And then what did we call LN? X. So another minus X. So keep simplifying. 50 is equal to 1/2. 360 minus X is minus 2X. Keep going. Simplify for X, and that will be your answer. Don't put this up yet, please. I want to show you something. Justin, who's right here? On Wednesdays, and 3 geometry. Not saying you didn't look though. Okay, I just passed out your homework. I want you to do evens. Evens only. I'm going to give you the answers because I want you to check yourself to make sure that you have the right answers. Okay, so if we're doing evens, number 2's answer is 137. Show me your work, please. Don't just write the answers. 4 is 118. 6 is 66. 8. 8 is 12. That's an 8. 10 is 45. And 12 is 146. Okay? So I'm giving you the answers so you can know that if you did them right or not. But don't just write the answers.